All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners. It is December 30th, 2020. This is our last meeting of the year. I know we said that at our last meeting, but we had an item come up and we wanted to dispose of it this year. So we only have one item on our regular agenda. It is a resolution. And so I am going to turn it over to Jeff Aludo so that he can walk us through the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, as you said, the only item on your agenda today, before you today, involves a settlement of a civil action and a claim between County Sheriff Jim Neal in his official capacity and Charmaine McGuffey. As you will recall, this was a civil action previously filed in U.S. District Court. The settlement is for $212,500. with attorney's fees to be determined by Judge DeLotte at a later date. Upon settlement, the plaintiff, Ms. McGuffey, agrees to file for a dismissal of the case in U.S. District Court. The agreement itself and resolution are before you. The administration recommends approval. Mike Friedman from the prosecutor's office and I are happy to answer any questions if there are any. So, commissioners, I would leave it to you for consideration.
Thank you. So commissioners, any comments at this point? I will go to public comment in a second, but any comments from either before we go to that?
Thank you, Madam President. I just think we need to move forward in order to save the taxpayers, money in this process, that we need to move forward and settle this claim. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I have no questions or comments.
Thank you. Bridget, do we have members of the public that would like to comment?
It looks like Dave Meyer has his hand raised. Dave, I have unmuted you on my end. So if you would just like to address the board, you can unmute.
Good afternoon. You are still, oh, there you go. You've got the pleasure of the floor for 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. First of all, the paper the other day was the first I had heard of this settlement. And I wouldn't say that I'm opposed to the settlement, but I am certainly concerned by the settlement that you're going to consider for the following reasons. Through the campaign, there were multiple allegations made on both sides, none that were fully addressed. The settlement and the size of the settlement suggests there's some basis for Ms. McGuffey's claim, but I understand that no one is admitting any fault. Regardless, I think we have people who have filed claims and made their voices heard, a person who was dismissed and now claims of bias. I think the voters and the residents of Hamilton County need to know if there is some systemic bias in the department. Similarly, we need to know if the new sheriff might create a hostile work environment that will create cost for the county. I think the only way to achieve that is to go forward under oath in the court of law to seek the truth. Sheriff deputies, Ms. McGuffey, all of them deserved to know that their voices are being heard and that their voices are indeed valued. Voters deserve to know, do we have a hostile, or will we have a hostile environment in the sheriff's office? Or will we have something of systemic bias? I'm also concerned that we have 4 elected officials, all of the same party, who have negotiated this deal. That's concerning. I'm not accusing anybody of being overly biased, but I have also seen through the past 8 years of our political system where bias can happen. I'll ask 3 questions and wrap up. 1, what was the amount that the settlement or the suit was filed for? 2, what was the logic behind the settlement and the determination of the $212,000? And finally, what is the reason that this is being done within 1 week of the swearing in of the new sheriff? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your comments. So Jeff, could you, or Michael, obviously the prosecutor is the one that negotiated this deal on behalf of the county. So I just want to be clear on that point. And so Jeff, could you walk us through the process here and who was involved at what point?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. Yeah, so the way this typically works is the Board of County Commissioners is a named party in the suit, and the party ultimately responsible for addressing the suit from a financial settlement perspective will work with the prosecutor's office to continue to provide guidance on settlement of claims. The prosecutor does that work on behalf of the board and then reports back to the commissioners on whether or not a settlement is reachable, and the board then ultimately makes a business decision as to whether or not settlement is the right thing for the organization and the taxpayers moving forward. So that's the way it works. Similar in any typical principal agent relationship, and whether it's in any other organization, the board in this particular case is the policy guides the policy as it relates to these things. The prosecutor's office does the work of the board in that regard. So I don't know that there's much more to say than that, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. I will, the prosecutor's office is represented at the meeting through Michael Friedman, as always. Michael, if you have anything to add, please feel free, but if not, that's fine too.
No, Commissioner Dreehouse, I don't. I was not part of this case. As you know, we have multiple assistant prosecutors that handle various aspects of county business, and I was not on that team that handled this case, so I can't really add much more to that. Other than, settlement discussions typically are kept confidential. What went into that, I don't know, and I don't know that I could say. So I have nothing to add, honestly.
Thank you, appreciate it. Bridget, are there any other folks that would like to comment?
Does not appear so.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, so I am going to move that we approve of this resolution unless there are any further comments or questions.
No comments.
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to move that we approve of the resolution authorizing the settlement of a civil action involving the Board of County Commissioners, Hamilton County Sheriff Jim Neal, and Charmaine McGuffey.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse,
Yes,
Commissioner Summer Dumas,
Yes.
Commissioner Parks.
Yes.
thank you. That is the only item on the agenda. Seeing nothing further, I'm going to move that we adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse,
Yes,
Commissioner Summer Dumas,
Yes.
Commissioner Parks.
Yes.
thank you. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.